Hey guys, TechFi, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the SteelSeries Rival 3 Wireless, a $50 or £50 gaming mouse, and it's the wired version of the great value for money SteelSeries Rival 3, which was just $30, and I really like most of the things about that mouse, and I'm interested to see how they changed anything, and if the SteelSeries Rival 3 Wireless is any good. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel, but obviously you've got to watch it first, so guys, let's get into this. Very quickly, in the box you obviously get the mouse itself, a booklet, two AAA batteries, and the dongle is inside the mouse when you pop off the back cover. The shape is exactly the same as the original SteelSeries Rival 3, so everything I said about it in my review still applies, but for those of you who haven't watched that, this mouse is semi-ambidextrous. It's 120.6mm long, 67mm wide at the back, 58.3mm wide at the front, and 37.9mm high. This means for grips it's also the same as the SteelSeries Rival 3. Palm users, you probably don't want to get this mouse. Unless you have very small hands, you might just about be able to get away with it. For claw and fingertip though, it's a very good mouse. Obviously it's on the smaller side, so if you have particularly large hands, you may struggle, especially with claw grip. However, personally for my hands, which are about 17cm by 8.5cm, I was really comfortable clawing this mouse, and I could easily fingertip it as well if I wanted to do that. The build quality overall is pretty good. It's a very solid mouse. If with two hands I push hard on the sides, I can activate that side button. However, I can't possibly do it with a single hand, so overall that's not going to be an issue, and it just does feel like a very solid mouse overall, and I really do like that. Weight wise, it's a bit interesting because it's a wireless mouse with batteries. With two batteries in, it's 106 grams. However, a cool feature about this mouse, and I will talk more about the battery in a bit, is it can work with only a single battery, and this brings the weight down to about 96 grams. You can, however, get different weight batteries. So they are AAA batteries, and obviously if you can find some lighter weight batteries, you can slightly bring that weight down even further without having to do any modifications. One thing to note is that weight's not evenly spread. It does feel quite back heavy, which is something I prefer to front heavy, but personally I prefer a more linear distribution across the mouse. Obviously it is on the heavier side, however in games it didn't really bother me too much. It didn't feel like a big heavy mouse like something like the Death Adder does, or the even heavier G502 Lightspeed wireless mouse I reviewed. But if your sole purpose is for gaming and you like a lighter mouse, then maybe you should go with the wired version of this mouse, save yourself a bit of money and get the lighter weight. The sensor has been upgraded from the original SteelSeries Rival 3, from the SteelSeries TrueMove Core to their TrueMove Air, and this is something I really like. So this has a maximum DPI of 18,000 and a 1000Hz polling rate. The big difference for me though is the lift-off distance. One of my big complaints, and only real complaint with the original SteelSeries Rival 3, is that the lift-off distance was a bit high at about 7 playing cards, and this meant I had cursor jiggle and things like that, and it just didn't make the mouse a nice experience to use. However, this only tracks up to a height of 4 playing cards. That's the same as something like the PMW3360, which is a great sensor, and it meant this mouse felt a lot better and a lot nicer to use in games. The sensor was very accurate and precise, it was nice and responsive even on wireless, and it was just a really nice experience to use. The primary mouse clicks also feel quite nice. They're pretty decent, especially at this price point, because you've got to remember with this review is this mouse is nothing exceptional in terms of the best, but at $50 I think you're starting to see it is a very good value for money mouse. Here's a sound test if you're interested of the left click and the right click. The side buttons are still a bit smaller and sharper than I'd personally like, however with these they also fixed another complaint I had with the SteelSeries Rival 3 originally. They originally, I said, took a little bit too much force to press. However, comparing them side by side, these definitely take noticeably less force to press, and I really like that. It once again just improves the overall experience with this mouse. If you're interested, here's a sound test of the front side button and the rear side button. The scroll wheel I don't think has changed. It has the same nice rubber feel and scrolls distinctly between each step, so there's no issues with it there. Personally, I'd like a bit of a quieter scroll wheel. It can make a bit of noise, but that's, I think anyway, just a nitpicky thing and won't really bother anyone. Here is though a sound test of the scroll wheel scrolling and clicking. The feet, once again, they're not exceptional, that's not the point of this mouse, but at $50 I think they do a decent job. They have a nice bit of glide. I like the larger one at the bottom, it makes the mouse feel very agile, and the lack of a cable really complements that, and it just feels quite nice to use. Obviously as well, feet are something you can replace if, let's say, you do really like this mouse and you want to upgrade the feet. A huge thing for a wireless mouse is the battery life and how that performs. SteelSeries claim if you use 2 batteries and the included ones, you can get up to 400 hours of battery life. Now I can't tell you whether they're telling the truth or not because 400 hours is a lot of time to test, but it stayed on a very high battery in the software and I can see it lasting for somewhere close to that. Either way, it's going to be a very long time. To get that mode though, you do, like I said, have to use both batteries and select high efficiency mode in the software. Personally though, what I do is I pop the back off and I'd only use a single battery. That way you get that lighter weight of about 96 grams, which just makes that mouse feel even more agile and becomes a sub 100 gram mouse, and it just feels a lot nicer then. I don't think, even if you're using a single battery and you have all the RGB on all the time as you want it, battery life is ever going to be something that bothers you with this mouse. The other thing is, although batteries can be annoying to get hold of sometimes if you don't have one, I do like the fact I don't have to have a cable lying around to charge this mouse. Even if it's just once a week, it's still annoying to have to plug in a cable and charge your mouse, so I do like the fact it uses batteries. It makes this much more portable. Following up from it being portable as well, the fact that this mouse has a 2.4 GHz dongle, which I personally use for gaming. I'd put that in the back of your PC, and it was lag free. I did have no issues with the connection with that. It was always instant and perfect, so I was very happy with that. It does also have a Bluetooth mode, as well as the stealthier lighting, which once again I'll talk about in a second. This makes this mouse much more usable with your laptop if you want to take it into work or school, and have it as just your single mouse you can switch between devices. The Bluetooth was not as good, but it was good, if that makes sense. You can notice the 2.4 GHz feeling that bit better, so I definitely recommend using that for gaming, but for normal tasks the Bluetooth was also just more than good enough. You can easily switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz using the little switch on the bottom of the mouse. Another cool feature which I briefly mentioned in the unboxing is that the dongle can be stored inside the mouse. This means if you're on Bluetooth you've got somewhere safe to keep the dongle. For the lighting and software, obviously, first of all, SteelSeries engine is very good. You get lots of controls over all the buttons, the lighting that you do have, and things to do with the battery and wireless to help you get more battery life or more performance. As for the lighting, unfortunately, you only get an RGB scroll wheel. You lose the cool light up logo and that really cool 3-zone RGB light zone light bar, which I did really like about the normal Rival 3 wired version. However, I can certainly live with this, and like I said, I do like that it feels a bit more stealthy and subtle, and I could use this in a workplace environment without feeling like I'm using a gaming mouse, and I do quite like that. Overall, I think you get the picture. For $50, I think the SteelSeries Rival 3 Wireless is a great wireless mouse. It's certainly a very good budget mouse with loads of cool features. It also feels like SteelSeries have really listened to the community, as my personal 2 main complaints have both been fixed with this version. Unfortunately, obviously the SteelSeries Rival 3 Wired, which is $30, still has that, but I do like the fact that the upgraded sensor and change to the side buttons just make this mouse much more usable for me. Just to sum it up again with the grips, if you're a palm user, unless you've got really small hands, don't buy this mouse. Claw and fingertip users, unless your hands are massive, this mouse is probably going to fit well for you. It's nice shape, it's semi-ambidextrous, and it's just really comfortable to use, so I think most people will enjoy it for claw and fingertip grips. SteelSeries Rival 3 Wireless is just a very solid mouse, and I think it's one of the few products that I can go, yep, for $50 I'd recommend this as a wireless gaming mouse. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please leave a like and even consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to look as cool as me, and I know you do, you can get yourself some merch at techify.co.uk/merch. For your next video, go check out the review of the SteelSeries Rival 3 Wired, and if you want to see a comparison between the wireless version and the wired version in more detail, let me know in the comments and I'll look into doing that for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.